You know, I think artists as a whole have this sort of weird thing where you're just driven to do something, and sometimes you don't really know why. But I was always driven to sculpt females, and it just evolved, and this was like the logical progression of what I wanted to do with my artistic abilities and my desire to create. I've always been sort of a recluse a little bit, so I spent a lot of the time in the garage by myself. There were obviously family that I would, you know, sort of show them what I was doing. They all thought I was weird. And really the initial concept, I thought maybe it would be a really cool like mannequin for display, stepping outside of the bonds of your traditional mannequin, which tend to be very supermodel-esque. I wanted to do something with some sexy curves. I started making a couple of early prototypes and put up a website and said, you know, I'm making this really crazy mannequin. And I got a lot of people asking me by email if these things were anatomically correct. And if so, could they order one? And I realized early on that this was probably the direction that this was going to go. And I just went with it. And added in some obvious parts, and there you go. The first real doll was born. I had to test them. Yeah, I had to make a vagina in a box and replicate basically the way I was gonna install it in the doll, and I had to try it out. You know, like that was in that phase where I realized this is gonna make me money. This is gonna be a career for me. So I took it very seriously and, you know, graciously donated myself to exploring to make sure everything worked right. I remember one guy lived way up in Alaska. He, you know, lived in the middle of nowhere and had no companionship whatsoever. And they had to like bring the doll out in the, you know, this large coffin-like box. But he loved it. He said it really took away the edge off of his, you know, loneliness and being alone out there. It's just, you know, not as simple as this is a sex doll. It's way more than that. It's always been sort of an obvious attraction to say, well, it sure would be cool to plug one of these into a computer and have it like move, you know, turn it into a robot or an android or something like that. And I've certainly messed around and tinkered with that sort of stuff over the years, and even to this day, you know, that's something that I work on, but I have yet to, you know, come up with the appropriate means of combining those two worlds together. But I do believe that we're almost there. It's not for everybody. You know, number one, not everybody has the degree of care and respect that it takes to actually own one of these dolls. You know, this is not something that you just kick under your bed. You know, they invest months and months into the planning of, you know, what the doll's gonna look like, what they give her a name, they'll set up a little closet or space to store the doll, and it becomes a personality, it becomes a presence in their home. And, you know, I'm not gonna judge, or nor do I think anyone else should, like, judge them for that. To me, it's an honor to be able to say, hey, I made I made a doll, and this guy, you know, a year ago he was depressed and lonely, and right now he's happy as can be. And you know, who am I to say, you know, is there something wrong with that? I don't think so.